Some people will smile with you during the day, but at night they sharpen knives behind your back. This is the kind of story that will make you think twice about the people you trust, even if they are your own family. It's about love, betrayal, and the quiet kind of revenge that doesn't shout but cuts deep. Once upon a time, in the busy city of Lagos, there lived a man called Okafo. He was a broke man who sold phone accessories beside the road. Every day, he would sit under a faded blue umbrella, arranging chargers, earpieces, memory cards, and phone cases on a small wooden table. His clothes always smelled of sweat and dust from the traffic that never stopped moving. He had a rough voice, the kind that could scare a timid customer into buying something they didn't even need. He would shout things like, "Charger way go last you for 5 years. Power bank way no day die." But most of the time, his profits were barely enough to keep the family fed. This man, Okafo, had a daughter named Serena. And though she loved her father, she was nothing like him in character or ambition. Serena was different. She was young, smart, and full of dreams that stretched beyond the noisy street where her father worked. Just 26, she was already a mother to a bright little boy named Jaden, a boy who could make anyone smile with his gap-toothed grin and endless questions about the world. Serena wanted more than survival. She wanted stability, a real home where Jaden could grow without hearing shouting matches every night. She wanted to stop worrying about whether there would be enough money for his school fees. When she heard about a big job opening at a famous company in Victoria Island, a job with good pay, health benefits, and opportunities for growth, she knew this was her chance. She applied quickly, sent in her well-prepared CV, and when the company invited her for an interview, she felt like she had just been handed a golden ticket. From that moment, her life became a routine of preparation. Through putting Jaden to bed each night, she would sit at the dining table with her old laptop, practicing interview questions she had found online. She watched videos about body language, dressed in front of the mirror to see how her smile looked, and even recorded herself speaking so she could correct her tone. One Saturday, she took the little savings she had and went to a thrift market in Yaba. After searching for hours, she found a second-hand navy blue suit that fit her perfectly. It wasn't new, but it made her look professional and confident. She washed and ironed it until it looked brand new. Her father, Darvin, didn't pay much attention to her preparations. He was too busy playing cards with his friends or complaining about the state of the country. Her older brother, Malrich, noticed though, and not in a good way. 30, Malrich had no steady job, no savings, and no sense of urgency. He had a charm that could make strangers like him, but it was the kind of charm that evaporated when real work was needed. He spent most of his days hanging around street corners, laughing with friends, and telling stories that made him sound more important than he was. One evening, when Serena was ironing her suit in the small sitting room, Malrich had walked past and said, "Now you go get this job? You ain't never even fit handle small business before? Abeg, no put your hopes too high." She had ignored him, focusing instead on pressing the sleeves perfectly flat. But deep inside, she felt the sting. She could see the jealousy hiding in his eyes. The day finally came. Serena woke up at 5 a.m., her heart pounding with a mix of excitement and nerves. The whole house was still asleep. She ironed her suit again, polished her black shoes, and packed her file carefully. She tiptoed into the small kitchen and prepared a quick breakfast for Jaden: bread, fried egg, and a cup of warm milk. She gently woke him up, kissed his forehead, and told him she would be back before evening. By 6:30 a.m., she was dressed and ready. She picked up her handbag and was about to step out when her father's voice stopped her. "Where you day go this early, dressed like say you day go meet governor?" he asked, his tone sharp. "I have an interview, Dad," she said, trying to sound cheerful. Malrich was sitting in the corner, tying his sneakers. He looked her up and down and smirked. "Interview? For that big company? You think say dem go employ you just like that? No be your type dem day look for." Serena ignored him and turned toward the door. But Darvin stepped in front of her, blocking the way. "You know you are selfish, Serena," he said slowly. "You never think about your brother. What about him? He needs a job too." Dad, I've been preparing for this interview for weeks. Malrich didn't even apply, she started to explain. Before she could finish, Malrich moved behind her and in one swift motion they pushed her into the small storeroom at the back of the house. She banged on the door immediately. Open this door. What's wrong with you? Darvin's voice came through the door. Stay there and think about your family for once. The Malrich is going for that interview. Her heart raced. She pounded on the wooden door until her hands hurt, but no one came. She heard her mother's worried voice in the background asking what was happening, but Darvin barked at her to stay out of it. Through the small, dusty window of the storeroom, Serena watched Malrich walk out wearing her suit jacket. He didn't even glance back. She sank to the floor, tears streaming down her face. She thought of Jaden, of all her late nights preparing, of how much she needed this job. And just like that, her chance was gone. 2 hours later, her younger cousin quietly unlocked the door. Ani, I'm sorry. Daddy said I shouldn't help you, but I couldn't watch you cry anymore. Serena grabbed her file and ran to the bus stop. She squeezed into a Danfo bus, her heart pounding with hope that maybe, just maybe, she could still make it in time. But when she arrived at the company's office, the receptionist shook her head. I'm sorry, Ma. We have finished the interviews. She stood there, clutching her file, feeling like the ground had fallen away beneath her. The fluorescent lights above seemed too bright, and the cold air of the reception felt like ice on her skin. When she got home, the sound of laughter met her at the door. Her father was holding a glass of gin, and Malrich was grinning proudly. He got the job, Darvin announced, as if it was the greatest news in the world. Serena didn't say a word. She walked past them into her room, locked the door, and sat on her bed. Her anger was not the loud, shouting kind. It was quiet, cold, and deep. She knew she couldn't change what had happened, but she could wait. And when the time came, she would make them regret it. This was the day Serena's heart stopped trusting her own blood. And it was the day she began to plan her quiet kind of justice. The morning after her father and brother had stolen her chance, Serena woke up feeling heavy. She lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. Every corner of the small room smelled faintly of the starch she had used to iron her suit. The suit now stretched across Malrich's broad shoulders. Her mother knocked gently on the door. Serena, food is ready, she said softly. I'm not hungry, Serena replied. She didn't want to face the living room, where Malrich would surely be grinning like a cat that had stolen a fish. Still, hunger won after a while, and she stepped out. Malrich was sitting on the couch, eating fried yam and egg. Darvin was talking loudly about how their family finally had a man in a real company. Serena sat down quietly, eating without looking at anyone. When Malrich left for his second day of work, Serena's eyes followed him. In her mind, she whispered, enjoy it while it lasts. Serena knew she couldn't take back the first job. But she could make sure Malrich didn't keep it for long. She had learned something important in life. People who cheat their way into something rarely have the discipline to keep it. So she began to follow him, not in an obvious way, but quietly like a shadow. On the third day of his job, she waited at a bus stop near his office. She saw him arrive, dressed in her suit jacket again. But instead of going straight into the building, he walked to a nearby bar and sat down with two men. They laughed, drank beer, and smoked cigarettes while the morning sun climbed higher. Serena took pictures with her phone. 2 days later, she followed him again. This time, she saw him arrive at the office but leave less than 2 hours later. He went to play snooker at a game center. More pictures. By the second week, she had gathered enough proof to make any manager angry. Pictures of him skipping work, arguing with a coworker in the street, even a short video of him sleeping on a bench outside instead of working. Serena waited for the right day. That day came on a Thursday morning when she knew Malrich's manager would be in the office early. She dressed neatly, not in her suit but in a simple blouse and skirt, and went straight to the company. When she introduced herself at the reception and asked to see the manager, the receptionist frowned. "Do you have an appointment?" No, Serena said, but it's important. I have information that concerns one of your staff. The manager, a tall man in a crisp white shirt, eventually came out. Serena handed him an envelope filled with printed pictures and a small note. The note listed the dates, times, and locations of each picture. I thought you should know the truth about who you hired, she said calmly. The man opened the envelope, looked through the pictures, and his expression darkened. Thank you, he said simply. Serena walked away without looking back. 2 days later, Malrich came home early. His face was hard, his jaw tight. What happened? Darwin asked. They fired me, Malrich spat. Said I wasn't serious about the job. Lies. Somebody must have set me up. Serena ate her food slowly, her eyes fixed on her plate. She didn't say a word. That night, she left a printed copy of the pictures in the middle of the sitting room table. When Darwin saw them the next morning, his voice shook with anger, not at her but at Malrich. So, this is what you were doing instead of working? Darwin shouted. From that day, the family's constant criticism of Serena stopped. The house grew tense. Darwin barely spoke to anyone unless it was to scold Malrich. Serena felt more in control than she had in years. With the family distracted, Serena quietly began applying for other jobs. She didn't tell anyone this time. Every evening after dinner, she would sit in her room with her laptop, scanning job boards and sending out applications. One Monday morning, she received an email from an even better company than the first one. They wanted her to come for an interview that Friday. She prepared silently. No ironing in the sitting room. No talking to her mother about it. She bought a new blouse with part of the little money she had saved. On Friday, she left the house in jeans and a t-shirt, carrying the blouse neatly folded in her bag. She changed into it in a public restroom near the company and walked into the interview with quiet confidence. By Monday, she got the call, "You've been hired." The first month's salary felt like a miracle. She didn't tell her father the exact amount. She paid her share of the household expenses, but no more. Darwin noticed. "Why are you holding back money?" he asked one evening. "I'm paying my part," she replied simply. Malrich muttered something about her being ungrateful, but Serena ignored him. She had learned that silence was more powerful than defending herself to people who didn't care about her truth. 6 months later, Serena got a promotion. Her salary increased. She didn't celebrate with the family. Instead, she took Jaden to a small restaurant where they ordered jollof rice, fried chicken, and ice cream. As they ate, Jaden said, "Mummy, are we going to live somewhere better one day?" "Yes," Serena said with a smile. Very soon. That night, Serena began looking at apartments. She didn't want something big, just a clean, safe place where she and Jaden could have peace. She found one in a quiet neighborhood and paid the deposit without telling anyone. She kept packing little by little, hiding boxes under her bed and in a friend's place. She was waiting for the right moment. And when it came, she would walk out without looking back. By the time Serena's plan to move out was nearly complete, the house felt like a battlefield where no one shouted, but everyone carried silent weapons. Darwin barely looked at her unless he needed something. Malrich's words to her were short and bitter. Serena, however, kept her calm. She woke up early, went to work, came back, cooked for Jaden, and spent her evenings quietly. The less she engaged, the easier it was to keep her peace and hide her plan. Every time she looked at the small boxes under her bed, she felt a rush of relief. One box had Jaden's school books and toys. Another held her neatly folded clothes. The last one contained documents, her job contract, ID cards, and a small envelope of cash she had been saving. It was a Saturday morning when she decided it was time. The air was unusually still, as if the neighborhood itself was holding its breath. Serena had already arranged for a friend with a small van to come pick her up. She got up early, made breakfast for Jaden, and told him with a smile, "Today we are going to our own home." His eyes lit up. "Our own home? With just you and me?" Yes, she said. Just you and me. By 9 a.m., she had all the boxes lined up by the door. That was when Darvin noticed. Where are you going with all this? He asked, his voice sharp. I'm moving out, Serena said simply. Darvin's face darkened. So after all we have done for you, you want to abandon your family? Serena looked at him calmly. You mean after all I have done for this family? I paid my share and more 4 years. And when I needed support for my future, you locked me in a storeroom so your son could steal my interview. I will never forget that day. Darvin's mouth opened, but no words came out. Malrich, who had been sitting in the corner scrolling through his phone, stood up. You think you're better than us now, right? Don't forget, the world is small. You might still need us one day. Serena picked up the first box. No, Malrich. I won't. Not for anything. Her friend arrived, and together they loaded the boxes into the van. Neighbors peered out from their windows, curious. Serena didn't look back when she stepped into the van with Jaden. She could feel the weight of her father's stare, heavy and hot like the Lagos sun, but she refused to meet his eyes. As the van pulled away, Jaden rested his head on her shoulder. Mummy, are we safe now? Yes, Serena whispered. We are safe now. The new apartment wasn't huge, but it was perfect for them. It had cream-colored walls, clean tiled floors, and a balcony where Serena could stand in the evenings and watch the city lights. On their first night, Serena and Jaden sat on the floor, eating rice from plastic plates because the furniture hadn't arrived yet. But they were both smiling. This feels nice, Jaden said between mouthfuls. Yes, Serena replied. It feels like freedom. Days turned into weeks, and Serena noticed the difference in her own heart. She no longer had to worry about someone locking her away to steal her opportunity. She no longer had to walk on eggshells around her father's moods or Malrich's insults. She woke up every morning to the sound of her son's laughter instead of the sound of arguments. And each payday she paid her rent, bought groceries, and saved a little more for the future. One evening, her phone rang. It was her mother. Serena, she said softly, I just wanted to hear your voice. The house is not the same without you. I'm fine, Mama, Serena said. She felt a small tug in her chest, but she knew she couldn't go back, not physically and not emotionally. On a quiet Sunday evening, Serena stood on her balcony watching the sun dip below the skyline. Jaden was inside drawing pictures of their new home. She thought about everything she had gone through, the betrayal, the silent battles, the quiet victories. She realized something important. Sometimes the people you expect to protect you will be the ones to hurt you. And sometimes the best way to love yourself is to walk away. Serena knelt beside Jaden as he colored in his drawing. Jaden, she said, do you know why we live here now? Because it's better, he guessed. Yes, she said. And because we don't stay in places where people don't treat us right, even if they are family. We work hard, we believe in ourselves, and we never let anyone take away our chance. Understand? Jaden nodded. Serena smiled. She knew he would remember that lesson for life. If someone treats you badly again and again, you have the right to walk away. Work hard, believe in yourself, and don't let anyone take your chance, no matter who they are. If you have not subscribed to my channel, you might not hear my voice again, but if you are, then you are growing every day. Check my page for more interesting stories. Thanks for watching.